Today we're going to showcase the power of the HPE Aruba Networking SSE platform in just 10 minutes. Get an inside look into how SSE operates in real-world scenarios and discover its user-friendly interface. Let's dive into the demo.
I have that Access agent running, but I'll show you some examples both with and without it. So we'll start with the user experience. For us, this is where the whole company starts, and what makes it so valuable to customers is if we can deliver a great user experience while reducing that attack surface and giving you better visibility and control. That's a rare win-win. So let's jump over to an on-prem SharePoint server that's sitting behind a firewall. And this particular application is running thousands of miles from me. I haven't loaded it yet today. I wanted to show you a nice fresh example of it. So I'm going to go ahead and download a payroll template here really quickly and just sort of show you what that user experience is like. You can see everything's starting up on its own as we're going through it. No tricks up my sleeve here. This is a real demo environment that's actually our running environment. But in some cases, maybe users can't run the agent, so they're going to have to go to some of these private type resources without running an agent on their device. Maybe it's a third party or a partner or something like that. And in this case, the browser itself will prompt that user for the authentication. So this just hit my phone, checking my Face ID through the Okta MFA. This could be Azure or Ping or whatever else you might be invested in. It's a federated capability here, so we can run multiple identity providers at the same time in a multi-tenanted model or in a single tenant. And then here you can see I can still interact with the SharePoint server. Again, this is one that's on-prem. It's not public facing on the internet. So if you run to sharepoint.accessinternal.com, you could see that for yourself, that you can't get to it. But this time I have a policy in place that says if I don't know that there's encryption on the device and that I'm compliant, running CrowdStrike, etc., then we're going to block the downloads. So just a quick example of running both agentless and agent for a web application. Web apps are pretty easy though. For agentless, we'll show you a couple other things that are pretty cool. Users might go to places on the internet. This is now going back with the agent on. CNN.com might be allowed, but maybe we don't want the users to be gambling during the middle of the day, so we can block different content like poker stars coming from a particular category. We can also control components of the application. So if a user was going to a SaaS application, maybe if it's the corporate version, they're allowed to do an upload or a download. But if it's a non-corporate version like this one right here, I'm just logged in with my personal, and we can go ahead and block those downloads based on the that particular rule. This is all flexible. You could allow downloads, block downloads. It's all controlled based on context, and it's really simple to set up. I'll show you that at the end. Lastly, let's go ahead and toggle the agent off one last time. And we can share. This is an optional portal. So you saw I was able to go directly to that SharePoint server without having to come to this portal. But there is also a portal here that can tell users based on your current context if the agent isn't running, but based on your identity, what you're allowed to get to. So let's jump in. We'll do a quick example of RDP. I'm going to jump into a domain controller here. Maybe it's a service provider that you need to give access to or something like that. And you can see I can do it right in the browser. And I'm going to a server that's thousands of miles from here, but it feels like even though it's coming through my browser, it's very frictionless. You also have the option, if you notice, to download a native RDP client that redirects to our cloud and gives them a native user experience as well. Coming back here onto the management console side, everything that I just did in real time is authorized. So you can see every little event. We can even just pivot on my user really quickly and see that whole journey that I went on. I went to some internet-based resources, authenticated through Okta, went to the SharePoint server with the agent on, and then went to that same SharePoint server with the agent off. Maybe we'll take a look at what happened. We saw the exact file I tried to download here and that it was blocked. So we have an event that we could send out to an alert. And then we also saw that I went into an RDP server coming from a particular IP address that was allowed by this policy, and then I connected and disconnected. Now, if I tried to print or download, upload, etc., we have controls over that as well, even though it's agentless. So it's a controlled environment. And I think one of the things that, in the limited time that I would highlight when it comes to managing this is that it does not take a CCIE. I'm not doing this with the concepts of traditional network approach. If you come and look at the rule base, you can see here at the top level, I have a very simple rule that says, let's block malware, gambling, and some of those Dropbox uploads and downloads. And then on the ZTNA side or the Zero Trust side, my VPN replacement rules are simply allow rules that say what I can and can't get to, whether it's me or a group. This is just pulling users from your identity source. It's saying based on the context, for instance, what device, or maybe I can allow it from any device, what we can get to, and then how we can get to it. So here I have default profiles, but when I went to that same web application, I hit this BYOD policy that said I can come from any device, but if I don't have these profiles, then we're going to go ahead and block that download. That's 2 policies, and that's radically more simple. I spent 5 years at McAfee trying to crack the DLP code in the traditional way 10 years ago. This is a much more elegant way to do it, right? We're using user and identity and context, and then a really simple checkbox type of profile that says what users can and can't get to. Again, not needing an extremely gifted team to decide whether to say yes or no here. When it comes to the setup, how did we get here? This can be done in a few different ways. When it comes to like Dropbox or something along those lines, I can show you what we did here. We have some out-of-box 10,000 plus SaaS applications that are identified. And then you can see I can just click in which controls. Maybe I don't want to let someone log in at all. Maybe I do want to control it. And then if I wanted to allow access but not do the blocking, we could say, for instance, exclude something that has the Delta Dental domain or whatever as a regex in that URL to allow or disallow based on that particular tenant. It's really, really easy to set up. We had customers get up and running and do their first few SaaS apps in a matter of minutes. And same thing goes for the web categories. I'd say the last piece to show here on the visibility side is one of the things that we've heard from the network teams is if I'm going to have to give up some level of that, control I have on the network by rerouting and hairpinning all my traffic back through the network, but specting it, I want that in your cloud, and I want to be able to troubleshoot it really easily. You can see very quickly here, I can take a look at what different devices are doing and which point of presence they're talking to, what the latency might be to that given location. Brad's in San Jose, he's talking to Virginia, so that's about 38 milliseconds. But that Virginia pop is really close to the connector that it's talking to, so that's a millisecond, and then the destination of the app is really close as well. So I can start to pinpoint, maybe Brad needs to be talking to a point of presence that's a little closer when he's going to that workload, and we can start to send our traffic in different directions. Same thing with Justin here. He's actually lives much closer in Boston to Virginia, so you're going to see a better performance in this case, and we're simulating some of these things by making sure that the users go to some of the wrong pops, so you can see how we can troubleshoot bad instances, but we can also make a very low latency experience, as you can see. Most of this happens out of the box with automation. You never have to think about it, but when you do have an incident, it's nice to know you can really quickly click on here and understand what users are doing and troubleshoot something from a network perspective. The events, they're all filterable. So if I wanted to come in and take a look at some of those downloads and whatnot that I did on the internet-facing websites, you can see every, basically request that users went to here. And then on the right side, you can dig in deeper and see things like content hashes. Let me see if I can pull a few up here for the particular files that they may have gone to, what it was, and what the hash is for that. So you can do troubleshooting on the IR side for the security team. I think that's just about it. We have customers that connect to their environments, whether it's an AWS or like a traditional on-prem data center. In minutes, our connectors make only an outbound request to the Access Cloud, and that's a really makes it easy on your network and your security team to allow the access. And then the default policies block all for the Zero Trust and VPN replacement side, and then you decide what should get access. So these connectors are just lightweight containers. They're not full proxies, so you're not having to run a lot of compute in your environment. It's really simple to set up and just takes a few minutes. So trying to take things that were good ideas 5 or 10 years ago, but were very hard to implement, very clunky, and make them elegant and much more SaaS feeling and modern. So hopefully you can understand a bit of how that's good for both the users as well as for the admins that look to set it up.
Thank you for watching this demo. To learn more about the HPE Aruba Networking SSE platform, please visit our website at hpe.com.